Abbie thoughts, Abbie thoughts, says whatever Abbie wants. Look out, here comes the Abbie thoughts.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Abbie Thoughts, where I just talk about stories or like videos that I found interesting this week. So the first story I noticed this week was basically this plane that was going from Toronto to Jamaica, taking holiday makers from Toronto to Jamaica, is forced to turn around and fly all the way back to Canada after an Instagram attention seeker shouted that he had coronavirus on the plane. He basically stood up and said, "Can I get everybody's attention, please? I just came back from Hunan province, the capital of the coronavirus. I'm not feeling too well. Thank you." He says it was simply a joke and that he just hoped to go viral on Instagram with them. He was arrested once they landed. So, and he sort of says he was shocked when nobody laughed. And I just find this whole story just surreal. If you actually look at the pictures of this guy, for me, that's like the first clue that something is off. Gotten onto a plane, wearing a light pink hoodie. He's clearly not making good life choices. And then he proceeds to sort of, pull this prank. And he's saying he thought it would be good publicity. It's definitely publicity. No, I wouldn't call it good. And it's just so interesting because this has happened, we're still really early days into this whole corona thing. But he's sort of saying he didn't realize how serious it was to shout this kind of thing on a plane, that he was saying it's not like I was trying to pull a terrorist attack. He's not even a reliable news source, because he says he'd just come from Hunan, the capital of this coronavirus. And no, it's not Hunan, it's Hubei, it's Wuhan, is the capital. So you couldn't even rely on him to give you reliable information. Their flight got sent back to Canada, and then they weren't allowed to fly for 24 hours. And then the next flight that was also going to the same destination also got cancelled just because of what this guy chose to do. So, yeah. And it's annoying because he's actually kind of fit. I would swipe right for this guy if you see this picture. But just from an evolutionary point of view, which is how will you help me survive? You know what I mean? Especially now that there's a freaking pandemic running around. But yeah, this evolutionary, just you are not a good bet. This was just unnecessary. We could have been in Jamaica sipping, I don't know, we could have been drinking rum 24 hours ago, and now we're not. We're back in fucking Toronto, freezing into our little duffel coats. So I would have bailed. He's an amateur musician. He does apparently have 200,000 followers or something. 30,000, I think. 30,000 followers, which is just... And so then the next story that I noticed, which was kind of interesting, was, a teenager who escaped from Saudi Arabia to Canada has thrown off her niqab, her burqa, and sort of posted pictures of her wearing a bikini to celebrate her new life in Canada. And there's been a few of these stories over the last sort of 2 years of just women having enough and trying to get away from their male relatives so that they can enjoy a bit more freedom, and actually drive and have a bit more of a life. And yeah, it's happening so much that I just sort of feel like teenage girls on Instagram are ruining Saudi Arabia. I just feel like most of these girls just need a rumspringer. They clearly just want to get something out of their system, so instead of having to emigrate to Canada and overrun Canada, they should just, I think Saudi government just needs to step in and give them 2 years out, 2 years off just to drink some wine and wear a bikini. Because what do they expect to happen? You can't allow Netflix and think that people aren't going to think, actually, or Instagram. If you just watch that for an hour, because what else are they doing? They're locked away in these houses. They're not able to travel anywhere. So all they can do is go online, look at pictures of Instagram models, and realize I think I'm getting a bit of a shit deal. She does seem to be adapting okay to her life, but that's not going to last. This kind of feeling of isn't this the best? That's maybe a year's max, but I might be wrong. But something will happen and then she'll be actually I need to chill out for a bit. But she's done her bid for freedom. and she seems to be enjoying it for now. So let it be, let it be. And then the third story I had a look at was about this Kansas man who has asked a judge to let him engage in a sword fight with his ex-wife and her lawyer in a trial as a way to settle their ongoing legal dispute. So apparently in the right to trial by combat, so the right to sort of fight your opponent and have a duel, has never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in these United States. I feel like they're missing something here. Like, aren't they the ones with like a huge backlog of cases? Most of these people are there because of having got into a fight with that other person anyway. They could as well just adopt this as like a quick fire round and just be done with it. But yeah, this was kind of like an odd story just because I didn't know it was law that you could still duel people. So that's kind of fun. And then the fourth story, Michael Bloomberg, who's like the presidential candidate, he's trying to get people to vote for him. He got filmed at a sort of campaign rally shaking a dog's mouth like it was a hand, which to me, you know, politicians are secretly reptiles, aren't they? So this is just proof. But I didn't think this was weird. Apparently loads of people were shocked and like taking the pee out of this, but I just like white people and dogs is such a thing that I don't even know what's normal. Like, you guys are always like making out with your dogs and like sleeping with them. So I just thought, like, is this that strange?
I mean is that like, I'm not saying is that like I want you to be a parent. I mean is that like, I'm not saying is that like I want you to be a parent. I mean is that like, I'm not saying is that like I want you to be a parent.
I didn't even know this wine drinking thing was strange behavior for a white person and their dog. Like, I was like, oh, white people find this weird? Oh, so it is weird. I really don't know. When it comes to dogs and things that white people do with them, I have no judgment because I have no frame of reference. Last story that I really found funny was that a man has found his own grave at a cemetery after his ex-wife put it there. So, you know, he's very much alive, but he sort of said, you know, people have been thinking that I'm dead, and he said my phone hasn't rung for 3 or 4 months. And he said, I've been confused why, but now I know why nobody has been calling, because people think that I'm dead. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why your phone hasn't been ringing for 3 or 4 months, but we'll go with that one. If you want to, that's fine. And just to add insult to injury, Hatel, who's the name of the man, said, I don't even want to be buried. I plan to be cremated. So, you know, clearly these two are not in touch, because she doesn't even know what his burial plans are. And she just assumed, yeah, I'll put you in the ground, why not? Yeah, I just feel like this is how you know your ex-wife really doesn't like you. Maybe hire some security because she has plans. And yeah, this is why you don't date, so that you don't end up in these situations. There's so much drama with relationships. It's so much drama. So yeah, this week, those are the things that I noticed and found kind of funny or surreal in the world. And that is all for my thoughts this week.